Hi, it's Kelly at Book and Paper Arts, and today I have a look at what's new in the studio. I recently spent a month in France, and I found a lot of treasure. Or maybe it found me, which I sometimes suspect to be the case. At any rate, this is only part one. This video, there's going to be a video part two because it was a big haul. I basically came back with 125 pounds of old papers and books, and keep in mind that I live on the 4th floor with no elevator and had to get it up there, so you best believe I am committed. Some of these pieces are going into the Kelly Bowler personal collection, some are for sale, and some are going to be included in the Ephemera bundle boxes that I also sell. If you like vintage ephemera, books, paper, and if you like altered books and journal arts, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and be sure and turn on the notifications, and you will have more of them in your life. Now let's go look at the good stuff. These are some fashion prints, and they're from 1874. They are from a magazine called Journal de Demoiselles. So, the paper for young ladies. The color is just amazing on these. And that's because the printing was done with a process called chromolithography. I do not know much about chromolithography yet, but I'm going to look into it, and when I find out more, I will tell you. Even the black and white ones really pop here. I do love a top hat with my walking suit. These are for sale. I'm selling them in lots of 2 or more if you want more than 2. I also have printable versions on Etsy. And there's a link to those printable scanned versions in the text below this video. These are some calling cards. And back in the day, you would, say around the 19-teens, you would order these with your name on them, and then you would exchange them with other people. And they were usually very pretty. Accept my best wishes. Thank you, I will. And if they're in good shape, you can gently lift it up, and this is where your name would be. But these were for ordering a style. So card number 446, assorted designs, 12 for 20 cents. Yes, please. Not all of these are in that good a condition. That's kind of stuck down. But even so, these make such adorable tags. I put these in pockets in my art journals and altered books. These are some new old photos of First Communions. If you've seen my work, my videos, you know that I collect these First Communion photos. I don't know why. But I think it has a lot to do with the fashion and the style. I'm also fascinated by these backdrops that some photographers seem to have that, you know, they're just curtains, but they look like little cathedrals. She looks vaguely horrified. But just look at this. She's got the white button boots, the layers of lace, the silk sash, the headpiece with the beautiful little flowers, the white gloves. Just so much detail. That makes me happy. I love this one. I think this is my favorite one. She's kind of got some Wednesday Addams attitude going on there. And look at that little suit with some knickerbockers. Speaking of vintage fashion, sort of, I acquired this big lot of buttons that are still on the card. These are made of milk glass, the buttons themselves, and the cards just have this very simple but very beautiful kind of an Art Nouveau lettering up there. So I'm going to be putting one of these cards in the ephemera boxes that I sell, and you could either take the buttons off the card, but if it was me, I would probably turn them into, I don't know, maybe a cover. Add this to the cover of a junk journal or an art journal, just for some mixed media, 3D goodness. I found so many gorgeous books this trip. I really do cherish books. And sometimes I make them into art, and sometimes I just sit and stare at them adoringly for long periods of time. This trip was remarkable because I found an unusual amount of books from the 18th century. This one is from 1752. And it's got some dings here on the spine, but I actually like that. I think it adds to the mystery and the story. And goodness knows, I would look that way if I was almost 300 years old. This one is, the book itself is actually published in 1705. But in 1781, somebody wrote a curse in it by hand. And it says something a little bit like, this book belongs to me, Pierre-Joseph de Griffet, and it says, if by the power of some demon somebody steals this book, then I hope that they will remember that they are a jerk who does not deserve to live. Bought in Brie in 1871 in April, Wednesday, something, something, something. It's got some wormholes here. Some little bookworm has been in this. But it's got the beautiful old paper and text. It's also really mangled here with the leather. One thing I love about it is, even though it's mangled, somebody has clearly loved it enough to try to repair it hundreds of years ago using old pieces of handwritten paper. So it's in a messy condition, but it comes with a curse. What can I say? This is nice. This one is actually not for sale. This is just, I'm going to keep this one myself because I love this tooling. Like a little church in itself. This is a more contemporary book. This is from the 1920s. And it is a missel, which is kind of a prayer book. It's got prayers and poems and hymns and psalms. And this one is dedicated to Joan of Arc, Jeanne d'Arc. And each page has these illustrations on the side, making a little frame for the text. And this one is full of holy cards. I did not seed this book with holy cards. This is how I found it. And these were considered beautiful little works of art, as well as devotional objects. This is from 1933. Souvenir of a First Communion. Let's see, this one is from 1909. St. Anthony. And I'm going to leave these holy cards in here because I actually feel a little superstitious about it. They are in this book where they were when somebody was actually using this and reading it and cherishing it. So I don't like to take them out. I also have quite a few Joan of Arc holy cards that I have found, but I will show those in the next video. This book is charm, charm, charm. It is charm incarnate between two leather-covered boards. And it's stories for my granddaughter and my grandson. From 1836. And the reason that I am so in love with this book is it also has that color printing where the color just pops. These are unintentionally hilarious, sanctimonious fables for children. And in most of these pictures, there's a good little girl, a good little kid, and a bad little kid. So Amélie, who does what she's supposed to, gets a doll and gets to live in the parlor. And Bathilde, I don't know what she's done, but she is living in the barn with the mice. Dang, they were hard. So here we have Charles and Désirée. Look, she's in trouble for messing with her books, throwing them around. Guillaume and Henri. I think that's the other way around. I think he's in trouble and he's doing good. I just love these, the old clothes, the costumes, the look into the mindset of what people were thinking when they were trying to teach children. And of course, just the color plates themselves. Oops, oh, another one. Anyway, it's dinged up there, but, you know, you got Bathilde living in the barn. I think it's worth a story. If you suspected that I came back with some religious ephemera, you are right, as always. I bought many, many, many holy cards from the late 19th century to the early 20th century. And I use these in my altered books. I use them as little tags, put them in pockets, and I sell them. I include 5 of them in the ephemera bundle boxes. I also have a couple of lots of these on Etsy, printable lots with over 100 holy cards in each one. If you are new, I will say again, I am personally not Catholic, but to me, these are little beautiful pieces of art. Each one is a little print. 1903. There's something exquisite about them. Let's see. I got quite a few rosaries, and I will be showing more in part 2, but I want to show this one. It's a rough amethyst. And even though it's a little bit on the undramatic side at first, I just think this is exquisite. It's got a crucifix that says Lourdes on the back. It is silver. And what's different about this is it has so many medals. Like between the linking bead here is 3 medals. And this one is of, I believe, of Mary. And this has the Christ figure. There's Saint Martin on his horse. And there's also Saint Joseph. And somewhere there's one of Bernadette in the grotto. And there's Therese of the flowers. So I just think that this is so pretty because of the purple stones and because of the silver medals. Now this is curious. This is called a Stanhope rosary. Now, back in the Victorian era, let's say around the 1860s, Stanhope was a viewfinder. And that was a popular form of entertainment, is you would have primitive photographs in a viewfinder, and you would have friends over, and you would compare and look in the viewfinder to see the pictures. And, well, I don't know. Anyway, those viewfinders were called Stanhopes. This is a Stanhope rosary. It is made of ivory. It's hand-carved. And if you could see inside this teeny tiny little aperture, you would see a photograph. There is a teensy weensy, really small photograph of an abbey. I can't remember the name of the abbey. I will write it down in the text below the video. But it's the first time I've ever seen one of those. I have a couple of small pieces. This is a medal. It is in silver and it is hallmarked. And on the back, it says the Congregation of the Children of Mary. Congregation des Enfants de Marie. It's got these lovely flowers. And it actually has a name. Therese Mimin, M-I-M-I-N, and it's dated 2 July 1912. I just like that it has a name. This little locket is just silver-plated, and it's hinged. Inside, at one time, I think it had a little notebook with teeny tiny photographs, or that's what I have seen them in the past. But I think this is just going to make a pretty locket with a photo, or maybe to put a medal inside. And this, I love this. This is a portable shrine. In French, it's called an autel, A-U-T-E-L. It is made of silver, and again, it's hallmarked. It's a very small hallmark, and I can't make it out with my old lady eyes. And what you would do is if you were traveling, or maybe even on a pilgrimage, you would take this very small little piece, and it stands up because of the legs in the back, and then you would use this for your prayers and devotions. So that is just a sweet little, beautiful, portable travel shrine. Hey, look, I also bought a rusty pince-nez. Boing. I'm going to be using that in some mixed media projects soon. That is it for today. If you are interested in buying anything that I showed today, just check out the text below this video, or drop me a line in the comments or an email. I may have missed something. Please join me this week. I'm going to have a look at the new Ephemera bundle boxes, part 2 of what's new in the studio, and I'm also going to have a video later this week about my favorite cheap and or free art supplies. If you definitely want to see those, please subscribe to the channel and turn on the notifications so you'll get a notice when that goes up. Until then. Happy making!